The day my best friend married the woman I loved was the day I learned that a clever man can be more dangerous than an enemy. My name is Kofi, son of a long line of farmers, and this is the story of how Ananse, the man I trusted most in this world, smiled while he stole the life that was meant to be mine. It happened many seasons ago, when the rain still came on time and the earth in our village smelled sweet and dark after every storm. Our village lay between green hills and a slow river that shone like melted silver in the morning sun. At dawn, the air carried the sound of pestles striking mortars, goats bleating, and children laughing as they chased each other through the dusty paths between mud houses. It was a quiet place where everyone knew everyone. And that was where I first truly saw Amma. Amma was not the loudest girl in the village, nor the most decorated. But when she walked, people noticed. Her laughter was soft like wind moving through palm leaves, and her eyes held a calm strength that made people feel at peace. The first time we spoke was at the river. I had gone early to check the fishing traps I had set the night before. The morning mist was still floating above the water when I saw her standing by the bank, washing clothes with slow, careful movements. She looked up when she heard my footsteps. For a moment neither of us spoke. Then she smiled. It was a small smile, but it felt as if the sun had suddenly risen twice. "Good morning, Kofi," she said. I was surprised she knew my name. "Good morning, Amma." From that day, I began finding small reasons to pass by the river more often. Sometimes we spoke only for a few minutes. Sometimes longer. We talked about simple things. The harvest, the weather, the noisy goats that kept escaping from my uncle's yard. But even those small conversations felt important. Amma listened carefully when people spoke. She did not interrupt, and she did not gossip. When she laughed, she covered her mouth slightly with her hand, as if trying to hide the joy. Slowly, without either of us saying it out loud, our lives began moving toward each other. Ananse. In those same days, my closest friend was a man named Ananse. In our village, people often said his mind was sharper than a hunter's knife. When disputes happened, elders sometimes called him to listen because he spoke calmly and always seemed to understand both sides of a story. But there was another truth about Ananse that many people knew. He liked winning. Whether it was an argument, a game, or a bargain in the market, Ananse always wanted to come out ahead. Sometimes he bent the truth just a little. Sometimes more than a little. Still, he had always treated me like a brother. We shared food, stories, and long evenings sitting under the baobab tree while the moon climbed slowly across the sky. Because of that, I trusted him. More than I should have. Love grows. As the seasons passed, my feelings for Amma grew deeper. I admired the way she cared for her younger siblings. I admired how she worked beside her mother in the fields without complaint. One evening during the harvest festival, drums echoed across the village square while people danced under lantern light. Amma wore a simple cloth patterned with deep blue and gold. When she moved through the crowd, the fabric flowed like water. I found the courage to approach her. "Will you dance with me?" I asked. She looked shy for a moment, then nodded. As we danced, the drums beat steadily beneath our feet. I remember thinking that if life could stop at that moment, I would be satisfied forever. Later that night, as people began returning home, I walked her along the narrow path toward her family's compound. The moonlight rested softly on her face. "Amma," I said carefully, "I wish to speak to your parents soon." She lowered her eyes but smiled. "I know," she said quietly. "The marriage talks. In our tradition, a man does not simply take a wife. Families must meet. Respect must be shown. Promises must be made." When my family visited Amma's parents, the meeting was warm and full of laughter. Palm wine was poured, and elders spoke long into the evening. Amma's father was a thoughtful man. He listened carefully before saying, "Kofi is hardworking. We know his family. This is good." My heart felt light. Soon the only thing left was the bride price. Amma's family asked for fine cloth, several bottles of palm wine, and a modest amount of money. It was fair, and I was proud to provide it. But the cloth they wanted was special and could only be found in the trading town several days away. So I prepared for the journey. Trust. Before leaving, I visited Ananse. He was sitting outside his house weaving a small basket. Brother, I said, I will travel tomorrow to buy the cloth for Amma's bride price. Ananse looked up with a calm smile. That is good news. I may be gone a few days, I continued. If Amma's family asks about me, please greet them and explain where I am. Ananse placed the basket aside and stood. Kofi, he said warmly, placing a hand on my shoulder, you worry too much. Go and return safely. I will watch over things. I thanked him. At that moment, I believed I had done the sensible thing. I believed I had left my happiness in the hands of a friend. The web. But while I was away, Ananse began weaving something far more dangerous than a basket. He went to Amma's family compound carrying palm wine. They welcomed him politely. After the greetings, he spoke slowly. I bring a message from Kofi. Amma's mother frowned slightly. What message? Ananse sighed as if the news troubled him. Kofi has changed his plans. He may travel far away to work in the city. Amma's parents exchanged worried looks. But the marriage, her father began. Ananse nodded sadly. Yes, that is why he spoke to me. He leaned closer and lowered his voice. He said Amma should not wait for a man who may be gone many years. He asked if I would marry her instead. The words fell like stones into quiet water. Amma's parents were shocked. But Ananse spoke calmly, confidently, like a man telling an unfortunate truth. And in our village, people trusted confident voices. The return. I returned after 5 days. The journey had been long, but I carried the cloth proudly, imagining Amma's smile when she saw it. As I entered the village, something felt wrong. People whispered when I passed. Some avoided my eyes. My cousin Kojo ran toward me with a troubled face. Kofi, he said carefully. Yes. There is something you must see. My stomach tightened. What is it? He hesitated before answering. Ananse is marrying Amma tomorrow. For a moment I thought I had misheard him. Then I laughed. That is not a good joke. But Kojo did not laugh. The wedding. When I reached Amma's family compound, the truth stood before me. Drums were being prepared. Women were cooking large pots of food. Guests were arriving. And inside the courtyard sat Ananse. My friend. Dressed in bright cloth. The groom. My heart felt like a clay pot dropped on stone. I walked straight toward him. Ananse, I said quietly. He looked up, calm as always. My friend, I continued, what is happening? He studied my face for a moment. Then he smiled a small, careful smile. You took too long, Kofi, he said. Life moves forward. The lesson. The elders later listened to the full story. Some suspected Ananse had twisted the truth. But the marriage had already been completed according to custom. Breaking it would bring great trouble between families. So Amma remained with Ananse. And I walked away with nothing but the cloth I had bought for our future. That day I learned a lesson our village still repeats to this day. A foolish enemy may attack you openly. But a clever friend may smile while building the trap. And whenever people speak about tricks and betrayal, someone always says with a knowing laugh, be careful. Ananse may be smiling, Spider Hash.